Bridge for the big one. I'm here with Rio Ferdinand and Frank Lampard. Of course, it's Chelsea against Barcelona in the Champions League. It doesn't come any bigger than that. I suppose the big question is, how do Chelsea beat Barcelona? Let's kick off with that.
Oh, good question, hard one. Rio was just saying there about how he didn't like coming here for reasons that it felt tight. We used to try and put Manchester United under pressure. Didn't always work, but I think that's Chelsea's game plan today. Not necessarily can they press right up the pitch all throughout the game, but when the ball's in the area, they're dangerous players. They have to get close and try and negate the Messis and the Suárez, and obviously try and get some ball themselves and try and create as well.
And Rio, they have a tremendous record here, Chelsea against Barcelona, unbeaten in 7 Champions League games.
And there'll be several players here that have been involved in many a game here against Chelsea, and when that gets in your head mentally, it's hard to kind of get that out, and that becomes a factor. I know that from my own personal experience playing here. It's been difficult games here, and you've got to make sure that you can weather that storm of that pressure, the fans, the intensity, and they'll bring that today. But when you've got a little genius like Messi on your side, you've always got a chance, and there'll be confidence that will come from that, and Chelsea have to try and contain him.
Now, I know you're watching this on Facebook, so if you've got any questions for Frank or for Rio, send them in. We'll read them out on air, as many as we can. Keep them sensible, keep them interesting. Let's talk about Barcelona, because tonight Chelsea, in many respects, are playing a different kind of Barcelona. Without Neymar, much more rigid at the back. They're conceding half the number of goals that they conceded last season. That's a sign of a different Barcelona, a much more difficult team to take on. Because everyone used to, the cliche was they're great going forward, not so great at the back.
Yeah, but even back in them times, you still had to get the ball off them. You had to get the ball, then make your way through the pitch. So it sounded easy on paper. Trust me, I've played against them a couple of times and got hammered. So, listen, the way that they play football is a joy to watch. Yes, they are a bit stiffer defensively, but that takes nothing away from their attacking prowess. They're a fantastically gifted side. But I don't think we should go overboard with Barcelona, because when you've got someone like Hazard in your team, if he turns up today, he's got the powers within the way he plays to turn this tie on his head, because he's that good. And I think a performance like that is something that I'm sure is within him, and something that I'm sure he wants to show. So Barca will have to be aware of that as well, because here Hazard on form is a test.
The stage is set for him. It was notable yesterday that Conte put him up for the interview. So he had a lot of questions about what about you and Messi, and that puts him on the spot.
Yeah.
That sort of makes him focus as well.
Well, he's elevated himself to that platform. He's 27 now, so it certainly is time for him to, we've done it in the Premier League for a few years now, so we're talking about him in these top brackets, but the Champions League is the top competition, club competition, so he has to do it. Listen, I think Rio's right, and I think today, in terms of Chelsea, I think it's 2 elements to the team. It's the front 3, whoever it may be, whether it's Hazard and Willian and Morata or Giroud, or whether he plays all the 3 little players as such and puts Pedro in there. I think they're the attacking option to try and hurt, and Hazard is at the fulcrum of that always. He's the man who makes it happen more than anyone in this team. And then the rest of the team have to have incredible discipline, concentration and work ethic to stop Barcelona hurting you that way.
Conte said you have to be perfect.
It's true, they have to be perfect, near perfect, but it's true what Frank's saying. As a defender, when you've got great players up front, or people that are capable of winning games on their own, you have to get your house in order as defenders and the midfielders, right? We'll back what they do, we'll back them up, won't overcommit. Let them guys up the front there win it for us, and that's a safety element, a safety way to play it. And being an Italian,
I mean, I don't think you can man mark him, because I think that sort of can mess up your own.
That's what people at home were saying. Why don't you just stick somebody on?
Because
Messi
I don't know, Kanté would be the one that would jump straight in front of you and you go, because he's quick into the tackle and he's quick everywhere. But all of a sudden, if Kanté gets dragged, and Messi's so clever and he comes and stands out on the wing here, Kanté vacates midfield, and then all of a sudden you've got to worry about Iniesta, etc., etc. So I don't think you can really break your own organisation with that. But every area of the pitch that Messi goes into, when he's available, the first Chelsea player near him has to get close and deny that space, has to not allow him to get his head up, have those touches where he can start to get ahead of steam or find that pass or goal.
What it is here, why he hasn't scored against Chelsea here, it's a tight pitch. When you go and play at Barcelona, you've been there, it's massive. You come out of the tunnel and you go, it's bigger than I thought on TV, on FIFA, when I played it on FIFA. It's massive. But then he comes here, this is a tight pitch, this is a tight stadium, and the dynamics change. And that can play into Chelsea's hands. But again, the team shape has to be able to back that stuff up.
FIFA got that one in. All right, we asked for your questions. Thomas says, how big of a weapon will Giroud's aerial ability be? Well, it depends if he starts the game, first of all. But
I'm not sure he'll start. I think he's done well in a couple of appearances made so far. Definitely a different option for Chelsea. He's a front man that can link, and then the quicker, more skillful players can run off of him, and he holds the ball up. I'm just guessing, and I'm just feeling that against Barcelona there's going to be a lot of energy in this Chelsea team from front to back, and I just think he might be an option later on in the game. I think Barcelona you think straight away they're not going to be able to handle the set pieces or the higher balls, so maybe he's an option later on in the game as a second option.
And Arnold says, who should start then? Or which would be your first option, Giroud or Morata?
Well, I think you signed Morata for 60 to 70 million pounds. I think he has to be your option in these big games. Now, the only other side of that is he's been injured, so only the manager and Morata know if he's fit enough to play in a game like this. But I do think he has the movement. He's a big lad as well, so he has that threat, but he does have the movement to test Barcelona behind, and you want to do that. You can't sit all game waiting for them to hurt you. You do have to try and test them behind at some stage.
Who would you prefer to face, Morata or Giroud?
I prefer to play against Giroud. Just that I don't think his movement's as fluid as Morata, especially when the ball's wide. I think Giroud's great when the ball's wide, he does get goals, but I think the movement, he's got cute movement, Morata, if he gets good delivery. But me and Frank were talking before. I think the way this Chelsea team probably set up today, in terms of being stiff at the back, high energy, I think I wouldn't want to play against a Hazard, Willian, Pedro, these type of players. I wouldn't want to play against that, because I think that's when you're here and they're at you and they're around you, buzzing around. It's in a good place to play.
You like this one, Frank? It's from Nishay. He says, how does the Chelsea team today compare to the Chelsea team in 2012 with Lamps, Terry and Drogba? Do they have the same kind of leaders?
Say it, Frank, say it.
Like the stereotypical old footballer. My day was much better. Well, listen, different players, different eras. I wouldn't want to compare, but I will say the reason we were, I think, 7 unbeaten against Barcelona was because of power and dedication and work ethic in these games. We got close to them, we put them under pressure. We weren't as talented them on the ball skillfully. I don't think this Chelsea team is that, so they're going to have to find a way to get through this tie without the physical power that we had in our team.
Do you think there's an advantage playing this first leg here at Stamford Bridge?
I always wanted to play away first. I'd always, in the big games in Europe, I'd want to go away, and then when you get home, you back yourself to beat teams at home. We'd back ourselves to beat anyone at home, so I'm sure Frank's teams did as well. If you were within a goal of a team, 1 goal down, or you got an away goal, 2-1 loss, I'd still get on the plane comfortable that I could come back to Old Trafford and get a result. Thomas
Dolphy's playing the sort of a shock jock. He's saying Eden Hazard has never done it on the biggest occasion in the Champions League for Chelsea. Discuss.
Well, not many have. Didier Drogba did it on the big. Well, he did it at different times, but he actually won us the Champions League at, I think, 34 years of age. So we can't, Eden Hazard's been in this team. Other teams have been more successful. It's been an era. It's been a cycle of English football not being so successful in the Champions League. The Madrids and the Barcelonas have dominated Bayern Munich before that. So I think it'd be very harsh to pick out Eden Hazard and say he personally hasn't done it. Now could be his time.
And of course, he is the big player for Chelsea. The big players have to perform in this match.
Yeah, he's a talisman, but I do think that he'll be putting himself under pressure to perform here as well, because the expectation is for him to be the man they look to get the result today. So that's pressure, but the top players, the best paid players in the world, that's the pressure you're under. You've got to deal with it.
Rob says, Frank, what did your team have that Barcelona struggled against?
Well, I mentioned it before, and it was the physicality. And I think particularly here, listen, these are 2 games. This one will be completely different, in my opinion, to the game in the Nou Camp. And this is where Chelsea really need to try and put the pressure on. And I mean, they need to be physical. They need to do everything to try and win this game, because a negative result here, I struggle to see it be very, very tough for Chelsea to go through and go to Nou Camp. A draw or a win obviously puts them in a decent spot, but a negative one here, this is here where they get an opportunity to go through in this game. So be physical, be strong, be organised, and then hope those magical players up front that Chelsea do have. And as Rio's right, we can't forget them. We talk about Messi all night, but Chelsea do have those. Those are the ones that need to maybe get you that goal that puts your noses in front.
And Chelsea come in here on the back of a couple of comfortable results and easy wins, West Brom. But Adam says, would defeat tonight put Conte back under pressure ahead of a big month? Because, of course, the 2 Manchester clubs come up next. Yeah, it will, and that's just the world we live in now in football, that one result can spin from a confident bunch, a confident squad, positive reports in the media, to being dramatically negative, and that's just the way it is in the world we are. But listen, I'm sure Conte expects, if there is a defeat, to be pressure mounting, and I think he's honest enough to accept that challenge. He's here, he's a big manager, won the league last season, so I'm sure no one wants to be under pressure, no one wants to be criticised or put under huge scrutiny. But listen, he won't be thinking of that. He'll be sitting there thinking, listen, a positive result, that's all I'm looking for today, nothing else. That's given you a taste of the epic scale of tonight's contest. Chelsea against Barcelona here at Stamford Bridge. We're on BT Sport 2 HD, 7 o'clock onwards. We're all here. Frank's here, Rio's here, Gary's in there. Yep. Glenn Hoddle will be joining us. Darren Fletcher on comms. Can't miss it. Join us later.